They called her Nene. She was 7 when her world shifted like a house losing its foundation. Her mother, Amaka, had been the warmth in the world, a soft-voiced woman who smelled of hibiscus oil and always sang while cooking. Nene remembered the songs more than the words. She remembered her mother's laughter, the rhythm of her steps as she carried laundry on her head, and the way she'd kiss Nene's forehead like she was placing a blessing there. But then her mother got sick. Her illness began like a whisper. It started with fatigue, something she brushed off easily. "I've just been working too much," she told Obinna, smiling through the exhaustion. She was the kind of woman who never liked to sit still. She woke before dawn to prepare Nene's lunch and sweep the compound. She took in mending jobs to support her husband's construction work and still managed to braid Nene's hair in perfect lines every weekend. But then the whispers grew louder. She began coughing, first dry, then deep, heavy, and wet. At night, Obinna would turn in bed and hear her trying to stifle the sound, as if the noise itself was a betrayal of her strength. Some mornings she could barely rise. Obinna took her to the nearby clinic. The nurse, a tired man who looked like he hadn't rested in a week, listened to her lungs and frowned. "You need a chest scan," he said. "This is more than a cold." They paid for the scan with what little they had saved for Nene's school fees. The results came back grim: tuberculosis with signs of possible complications. She needed immediate medication, regular hospital visits, and stronger nutrition. The nurse handed Obinna a prescription sheet so long it looked like a scroll. He stared at it blankly. "How much will it all cost?" The nurse scratched his head. "At least 60,000 Nigerian nairas to start. More if she doesn't respond quickly." Obinna did not have 6,000 Nigerian nairas, let alone 60. He tried. He truly tried. First, he went to his boss on the construction site, a heavy-set man with oil-stained fingers and a reputation for being reasonable when sober. "I'll work overtime. Sundays too. Please, my wife is sick." The man nodded solemnly. "I wish I could help, Obinna, but this economy isn't as it used to be." He gave him 2,000 Nigerian nairas and a bottle of paracetamol. She should rest well. Obinna tried his neighbors next. He went from door to door in their small compound, bowing his head slightly as he knocked. Some were kind. Some were embarrassed to say no. One woman said, "I lost my sister to the same thing. Even with money, she didn't make it." One man said, "Obinna, you're a good man. But good men die broke every day." He borrowed when he could. He sold Amaka's old sewing machine. He pawned his phone. He sent word to his older brother in Enugu, who replied with a brief text, "I wish I could help. Times are hard." Meanwhile, Amaka was slipping, quietly, steadily. Nene didn't understand the full picture, but she saw the worry in her father's eyes. She saw her mother shrink before her like fabric caught in the rain. Amaka still smiled for her daughter, still sang, though her voice was now cracked and thin. "My star girl," she would whisper to Nene, pressing kisses to her forehead. "You will grow bright, brighter than me. Don't worry." One night she had a terrible coughing fit. Blood stained her handkerchief. Obinna carried her in his arms to the clinic, sweating, breathless, whispering prayers he hadn't said since he was a boy. The nurse met him at the door. "She needs to be admitted," he said. "But we need at least a deposit." Obinna opened his wallet. It held 700 Nigerian nairas. "I'll bring more," he promised. "Let her rest here tonight. I'll find a way." They gave her a bed in the corner, next to a cracked wall and a flickering fan. Obinna walked home that night in the dark, dazed and hollow, every step heavier than the last. The next morning, Amaka was gone. Not discharged. Not transferred. Gone. The clinic said she passed peacefully, that she fell asleep around 4 a.m. and never woke up. The nurse placed a small, folded note in Obinna's hand. It was Amaka's handwriting. Faint, almost illegible. "Take care of Nene. She is your heart now. Forgive me for being tired. I tried, Obinna. I did." Obinna stood outside the clinic in the rising sun, his face dry, though his eyes were red. He had no more tears left. just the weight of a child in one hand and a future he did not know how to build in the other. He buried her in the village with borrowed money. Nene asked, "When is Mommy coming back?" Obina crouched and held her tight. "She's not coming back, Nene, but she's everywhere now. She's in your smile. She's in your laugh. She's watching." He meant it. After Amaka's burial, Obina returned to the city with Nene, cradling her small hand like it was the last thing tethering him to the earth. Their room in the shared compound suddenly felt twice as empty. The mattress seemed colder. The old plastic stool Amaka used to sit on while peeling yams was still beside the door, her scarf folded neatly on top. Nene touched it every day. For the first few days, Obina tried to keep things moving. He cooked rice that came out too watery. He combed Nene's hair too roughly. He walked her to the neighbor's house when he had to leave for work, promising, "I'll be back before sunset." But grief is a slow, sharp poison. It made his limbs heavy, his thoughts scattered. He would hammer nails at the construction site and miss the beat. He forgot tools left early came late. The foreman, a lean, irritable man named Tanko, called him out in front of the others. "Obina, you're a good man, but this isn't charity. If your head isn't in the work, you're wasting time and cement." Obina apologized. Once, twice, but on the third strike, they told him not to bother coming back. No warning, no final pay, just a quiet nod and a turning of backs. He walked home that day under the weight of an invisible sack. Loss, shame, failure. At the compound, Nene ran up to meet him with a crayon drawing in hand. A picture of her mommy, and her daddy holding hands under a sun with a smiley face. He smiled, but his chest burned. The next few weeks were a blur of desperation. He did odd jobs, hauling sand for masons, running errands at the market, cleaning gutters. They paid him in coins, sometimes in leftover bread. He rationed it for Nene. He sold his wristwatch, then his second-best shoes. At night, when Nene had fallen asleep with her head against his thigh, he would sit in the dark and talk to Amaka's memory. "You left me in the deep, Amaka. You left too soon. I don't know how to do this without you." Rent was late. Landlord knocked. One neighbor told him, "You can't keep that girl like this. She's growing thin. She needs routine, food, school." Obina nodded. He knew everything they were not saying. He tried again to ask for help from old friends, relatives. One cousin told him bluntly, "Children are a blessing, but raising one alone, it's God that takes charge of that." Finally, one morning, as the sun filtered through the slats in their window and Nene slept soundly beside him, Obina packed a small bag. He filled it with 2 dresses, a comb, and a pair of sandals that didn't quite fit anymore. He wrapped her in a blanket and carried her out before dawn. They took a bus to the village. Nene was excited at first, thinking it was a holiday or a visit, but Obina's silence on the bus worried her. He didn't smile. He didn't answer her questions. He just held her tighter. When they reached Pa Zeb's house, a lopsided structure with rusted gutters and a sleeping dog at the porch, Obina hesitated. He had not seen his father in nearly 3 years. The old man opened the door with a grunt, his walking stick tapping the floor like a slow metronome. Obina bowed slightly. "Papa, good morning. You came without notice." "Why?" Obina's voice cracked. "I need help." He explained everything in the courtyard. His job loss, the funeral debt, the missed meals, the way Nene's eyes were losing their light. He didn't beg, but his voice had the sound of a man unraveling. "I need her to stay here, just until I can find my feet." Pa Zeb looked at the girl. She was quiet, hiding behind her father's trousers, her eyes huge and uncertain. "You bring me burden, not blessing," the old man said, frowning. "A girl child at that. Who will feed her? Who will watch her? My back is not young." "I'll send money," Obina promised. "Anything I earn." "Where is the money now?" the old man snapped. There was a long silence, then finally a shrug. "Put her things in the back room. Let her not disturb me." Obina walked Nene into the dim, dusty room behind the kitchen. It had one window, a straw mat, and a rusted lamp. Nene looked up at him. "Daddy, are we staying here long?" He knelt beside her, brushing her cheek. "No, my star girl. Just for a while. I need to go make things better." She nodded, but she didn't understand. When he walked away, she stood in the doorway, watching the dust trail from his shoes fade into the morning. He never turned back. He couldn't. If he had, he might never have left her. And that was that. Life in the village was quiet, but not gentle. Pa Zeb was not cruel in the way of monsters. He did not beat her for pleasure, or scream without reason. But he was cold, and his love was like a locked door that no one had the key to anymore. He spoke to Nene only when he needed something. Fetch water from the stream. Cut the firewood smaller. Wash the floor. Again. He never called her by name. Only girl or you. She did all he asked. Not perfectly, but with the aching eagerness of a child who wants to be loved. She thought, perhaps, if she was good enough, he would begin to smile at her. He never did. She wore the same 3 dresses over and over until they frayed at the hem. Her shoes fell apart and were never replaced. When she asked for school, he waved her off. "You think I have money to waste on ABCs?" First, Nene thought she had done something wrong. Maybe it was the way she asked about school and looked at her grandfather. Maybe it was the way she accidentally spilled the bowl of water on her first day. Or maybe he had simply never wanted her. Whatever the reason, Pa Zeb made it clear within the first week that Nene was a burden, not family. The old man lived by a strict rhythm. He woke at 5 a.m. sharp, regardless of season. His cane knocked against the floor with every step. He lit the stove with a match and boiled bitter herbs that filled the house with a sharp, choking smell. From her thin mat in the back room, Nene listened to it all, too afraid to move without permission. On her 3rd day there, she ventured into the kitchen to ask for breakfast. He glanced at her without turning his head fully. "You want food already? Did you wake up and sweep the compound? Fetch water? Clean the pit toilet?" "I didn't know Then you don't know how to eat either." He didn't feed her that morning, so she learned. Quickly. Every day became a drill of labor for a child who should have still been in school. Her tasks included sweeping the compound with a straw broom until her back ached, fetching water from the stream nearly a mile away with a bucket half her size, washing Pa Zeb's clothes by hand, even when her fingers cracked, cutting firewood, carefully stacking it, and stirring the soup pot without complaint. Pa Zeb rarely spoke unless it was to correct her or curse under his breath. "Useless child, your mother spoiled you. You're eating my food for nothing." Sometimes, after doing everything, she would sit quietly in the corner while he ate from a steaming bowl of yam porridge or okra soup. He would finish, then say, "Go wash the plate." When she asked, "Can I have some?" he'd raise his cane. Not always to strike her, but always to remind her, "You eat when you earn it." She would then eat Gary with water, if there was any left, or scrape burnt rice from the bottom of the old pot. On many nights, she went to bed with her stomach rumbling, curling up in her blanket to whisper her mother's name. Nene tried not to cry. She told herself that crying would make it worse. So she hardened, bit her lip, and started talking to things that didn't speak back. Trees, the moonlight, her empty plate. The mango tree behind the house became her best listener. She carved her mother's name into its bark with a stone, whispering, "Please watch me, Mommy. I'm trying." One day, when she came back from the stream with a bruised foot and mud on her legs, she found the door locked. She sat by the doorstep for hours until Pa Zeb returned from the beer parlor. "Why are you crying?" he asked. "I was outside. I couldn't get in." He scoffed. "You're lucky I didn't let the dogs out." He didn't even ask about her foot. Weeks turned into months. Her dresses were now faded and threadbare. Her sandals were broken. Her hands, once soft and small, had hardened with work. Her voice became quieter. Her laughter faded entirely. When people from the village passed by and saw her, she would smile out of habit. But no one asked more than once how she was doing. And when she said, "I'm fine," they believed her or pretended to. Some pitied her. A few gave her bananas or groundnuts in secret, but no one ever challenged Pa Zeb. He was an elder, a war veteran, a man with a cane and a temper. Inside the house he ruled, and Nene's suffering remained invisible. The worst part wasn't the hunger. It was the loneliness, the way her presence never seemed to matter. Like she was a shadow that moved and worked, but wasn't seen. She would whisper stories to herself at night. Stories her mother once told her. Of queens who ran through forests and lived with lions. Of little girls who grew wings and flew away. Of stars who came down to earth in human form. She would whisper and whisper, until sleep took her like a mercy. And yet Nene did not break. She began to hide extra cassava peels and roast them secretly. She memorized the path of the stars. She learned to steal time under the mango tree to breathe again. She wrote her mother's name in the dust every morning before sweeping it away, because she believed deep down that someday someone would remember her again, that her father would return, that love would find its way back. Until then, she endured, not because she was strong, but because she had no other choice. When neighbors visited, rarely, he warned her to stay in the kitchen. No talking. Don't be showing your teeth anyhow. If she laughed too loudly, he would smack the back of her head. You're not a monkey. Sometimes, she would sit by the old mango tree out back, the one her mother once mentioned visiting as a girl, and cry into her knees. The tree became her only friend. It listened. It did not demand anything. The villagers noticed in their way. 1 or 2 women gave her fruit when she passed. The church aunties asked once or twice if she was okay. She always nodded, always smiled, because she had learned that speaking about pain only made it worse. Her father called twice a month. On her birthday, he sent a parcel. New sandals and a box of sweets. She clutched it to her chest and smiled until her face hurt. She never told him she wasn't in school, or that she had started limping from carrying too many buckets of water, or that her mattress was just an old sack filled with dry leaves. He was always busy. I'm doing this for you, Nene. One day you'll thank me. She hoped that day would come. One harm leads to another. One night, Nene tried to take an extra piece of yam from the pot. Her stomach had been hurting for days. She was always hungry. Pa Zeb caught her. He did not yell. He only stood there for a moment, the fire casting shadows across his wrinkled face. You thief, he said. Then he raised his cane and struck her arm. Once. Hard. It was the first time he had hit her like that. The next day, her arm swelled. That night, Pa Zeb met Nene crying. He walked up to her and asked her why she is crying. She replied and said she hasn't eaten anything in days now. He said, you would eat, I will give you food in one condition, just one. Nene asked which it was. I have cleaned the house, washed the dishes, what else do you want me to help you with? He replied, I'm not talking about food here, I'm talking about personal satisfaction. She asked which, before you know it, he started touching her thighs. Nene was calm. When he went further deep close to her hips, she adjusted and wasn't comfortable with it. She asked, Pa, please, what are you doing? He said calmly, you would know soon. Pa Zeb went further to removing her torn pant. Nene held them back and her voices were becoming louder. Sir, please stop. Please stop. You're not supposed to do that. He used his hand to cover her mouth to prevent her from screaming. Nene, at the other hand, was hungry, weak and helpless. Couldn't do much than just move her waist from one place to another. He finally removed her pant. Nene, now having a clue of what's about to happen, she started crying heavily and begging him. He didn't say a word and just continue what he was doing. He took off his short and was moving closer to Nene. She saw his manhood and cried more. Pa Zeb put saliva on his other hand and rubbed it on the cap of his manhood. Then he tried to penetrate Nene. She shouted in pain. He stopped for a moment, not because she screamed, but because it was too tight. Then he tried again. When he felt a penetration, he went in even further. Nene had screamed her voice and her breath and was calm, bearing the pain, hoping it ends soon. When Pa Zeb was stroking, he looked down and saw blood. He didn't even pause, he just continued with what he was doing. He didn't spend up to 2 minutes inside and he already reached orgasm. He poured all his semen inside innocent Nene. Immediately he withdrew. He saw his thick milky semen with blood on top coming out. The blood came from Nene. She just got disvirgined. Now that he has come, he came back to his senses and told Nene to go clean her blood and shower afterwards. But she wasn't responding. He thought she was pretending and he said it again while putting on his trousers. when he discovered she hadn't moved since he stood up. Then he realized all is not well. Then he went closer to her and tried waking her up. Still. No movement. He became worried this time, quickly looked for water and pour on her face head, inclining the angle of her head with his hand and shoulder, calling her name, shaking her to say something. She responded slowly, in pain and tears, "Why are you doing this to me?" He told her we was sorry that it won't happen again. He gave her food and took care of her for the rest of the night. The next day, Nene could not walk. She was on bed all through. Pa Zeb bought her few painkiller drugs to ease her pain, but she cried all day, not because of the pain she was feeling, but because her mom and dad wasn't there to protect her when she needed them the most. Pa Zeb was so nice to her the next day, taking care of her, staying beside her all through. Weeks passed and she became normal physically but mentally. She was drained. Pa Zeb's attitude towards her was changing for worse already, because she has been eating for weeks now and not doing nothing. Most times she stare at a particular place for hours, not because she's looking at something, but because she's lost in thought. That evening, Pa Zeb returned home with some candies and chocolate he bought for her because he realized this was her 10th birthday, so he went straight to where he was resting and gave them to her. She was so happy and bright, because it was the first time he is getting her candies. She collected them and started eating because she was starving as well. After giving her the gifts, he refused to go because he wanted something in return. When Nene realized he wasn't leaving, she standing and looking at her lost fully. She realized what he did and why he bought the candies. He bought them for her because he wanted to sleep with her again. He was now trying to bribe her to sleep with her, no longer doing it with force. She asked him why he loved hurting her so much. He answered it wasn't his fault, that he was tired of masturbating every night since he lost his wife and wanted a way around it. "And you think I'm the way?" he replied. "For now, you are the only way." She dropped what she was eating and asked if it can be less painful. She knew she has no one to call for help. She accepted and wanted a way to make it less painful. He said, "I would try." He took off his clothes and took off that of little Nene too. He lay her down gently, started romancing her. She closed her eyes tight and wanted everything to be over already. Inhaling the smelling saliva from the old man's breath when he was kissing her neck and chest. Then he went down and started sucking her vagina. Nene took a deep breath as not to scream. She liked that part of him sucking it and was making weird noise. Then he penetrated. While stroking, he saw blood on his shaft. But he continued. The only part Nene enjoyed was the sucking part. Every other thing he did was terrible and painful. They continued for weeks. Weeks turned to months. Nene's private part was now used to his kind of manhood, so anytime he come around, she just opened and wanted to end, crying less. Her body changes begins. Puberty has already begun on Nene. Her nipples were becoming harder. Growth started. Ever since Pa Zeb started having sex with her, he has been treating her as his daughter and taking good care of her. So sex was the price she was paying to live with him comfortably and happy. Before Nene was 12, she had grown bigger and taller and was already seeing her monthly period. She told Pa Zeb about it. He understood and bought his sanitary pads and told her, "You are now becoming a woman. You would see the every month, that is 12 times in a year's, sometimes more, sometimes less." She replied okay. After her menstruation, Pa Zeb kept on sleeping with her. She even begged him to pay her school fees so she can start going to school, but he refused and said he doesn't have money. Before her 13th birthday, Nene had missed her period 4 times and was bothered why she never saw it again, because he said she would see it every month. So she walked up to him and told him she hasn't seen her period yet. He asked how long. She replied 4 months. He was shocked. "Why didn't you tell me when you missed the first one? No wonder you sleep all day and you're adding weight." Nene asked, "Is everything okay?" He answered, "Of course no, you are pregnant, and it's an abomination for a granddaughter to get pregnant for a grandfather." She asked, "What do we do now? My dad is going to kill me. He doesn't care about you," he said. "Since he came and dropped you off, he has been away for years." Pa Zeb's plan was for Nene to give birth to the child, because she was too young for abortion. She was 6 months pregnant already. One faithful afternoon, when Nene was picking beans outside the house with Pa Zeb beside her, her father came to check on her. His visit was unannounced, so they were surprised and disappointed the same time. He was very happy to see Nene, but discovered she wasn't happy to see him. He greeted Pa Zeb. He responded calmly. He asked Nene if everything was okay. He was quiet. He saw something like a protruding pregnancy on her. He forced her to stand up and saw the surprise that his only daughter is pregnant. He was broken, with tears rolling down his cheek. "Who did this to you?" He asked Pa Zeb. "Who did this to my daughter?" He was quiet. They both said nothing. He kept on asking and shouting in disappointment. They said nothing. Then he reported the issue to the elders in the community. They invited both of them for a meeting. While in the meeting, Pa Zeb never wanted it to be long. He told them straight that it's all his fault and he is the father of the child. They were all surprised, asking him why he would rape a little girl instead of getting another wife. Nene started crying bitterly for disappointing his dad and family name. What happened next would shock everyone. Stay close for part 2.